Shower thought. Only a decade or so ago, they were using the term transsexual. Then they changed it to transgender. By the left changing transsexual to transgender, are they doing a backhanded concession that sex can't be altered? They amended it to gender because in their value system, gender is merely a costume, a social construct. Is it their admission hidden in their typical word salad that such surgery is cosmetic in nature and has no fundamental bearing in reality? Speaking of radical transformation, the Washington Post had an article entitled, "We're drowning in old books, but getting rid of them is heartbreaking." In it we read, on a recent weekday afternoon, Bruce Albright arrives in the Wonder Book parking lot, pops the trunk of his Camry and unloads 2 boxes of well-worn books. "It's sad. Some of these I've read numerous times," he says. Albright, 70, has been at this for 6 months, shedding 750 books at his local library and at this Frederick, Maryland store. The rub, more than 1,700 volumes remain shelved in the retired government lawyer's nearby home, his collection lovingly amassed over a half-century. But Albright is on a mission. "I cleaned out my parents' home," he says. "I don't want to do to my kids what my parents did to me." He's far from alone. Books are precious to their owners. Their worth, emotional and monetary, is comparably less to anyone else. At any rate, the article goes on to talk about the emerging phenomenon that we're being encouraged to engage in, the normalization of book burning in essence, the trashing of the Western canon in an attempt to effectuate change across the society. You see teachers conditioned to enthuse over this cultural vandalism, like this woman who tweeted out, "This week, dumpsters were filled with books that should have left decades ago at TWP schools and replaced with engaging, relevant, and culturally diverse literature." And what is meant by engaging, relevant, and culturally diverse literature? Could it be along the lines of what this teacher is pleased to gloat about promoting to her students? The CDC even got in on the act, tweeting out, "School administrators, our LGBTQ inclusivity self-assessment tool can help you quickly gauge inclusivity at your school. See your score today and learn ways to increase inclusivity." So these are our books now? This is our canon? The poet Ezra Pound said, if a nation's literature declines, the nation atrophies and decays. It's kind of part and parcel with what Czech novelist Milan Kundera says. The first step in liquidating a people is to erase its memory. Destroy its books, its culture, its history. Then have somebody write new books, manufacture a new culture, invent a new history. Before long, the nation will begin to forget what it is and what it was. French sociologist Auguste Comte said, "Nothing is destroyed until it is replaced." He would have gone along well with George Orwell, who remarked, "The most effective way to destroy a people is to deny and obliterate an understanding of their own history. Step 1 is sacking a city and destroying a civilization, burning their books, like in the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, which touched off the Dark Ages. Like woke teachers canceling Shakespeare because of his white supremacy, misogyny, racism, and classism." Or the New York Times, who bravely asks, "Should we cancel Aristotle?" Jorge Luis Borges said that reading is thinking with other men's thoughts. Through reading, you can come into communication with the greatest minds of human history. Or we can burn them all and mind meld with neon-painted club kids, YouTube makeup artists, and vacuous, barely literate Instagram influencers. The establishment media is doing everything possible to make sure that you don't hear some of the most important voices out there on medicine, science, politics, business, media, and so forth. That's why it's so important that you check out the new American show, Conversations That Matter with Alex Newman, which tackles all of these topics and more.